our own little contribution to helping people access the Youwin training, the Youwin funds, beg your pardon. And then this training is not sponsored or authorized by Youwin, it's just our own prerogative to contribute to the development of Nigeria. So Youwin has not access to it, we're just doing it. Okay. I'm going to run through the questions that you have online, and then I'm going to answer them as best as I can. My profile is that Youwin 3, is it Youwin 2? Youwin 2, my wife got 10 million. Youwin 3, I got 9 million. So I think I should be able to talk a little bit about the questions. Alright, so let's go straight to business. The first question you have there is business description. Describe your business. And you have 20 words to do that. I believe that what they expect to see is what exactly is your business about. For instance, if you're a poultry farmer, you have to let them know what line of poultry you're into. Do you do day-old chicks? Do you do egg production? Are you a broiler producer? Do you understand? You specify exactly what you do. So you describe your business in 20 words. Just give them a general overview of what the business that you're into is about. Okay, the next question is to select the industry in which you operate. So if it's agriculture, you say it's agriculture. Crop farming. If it's animal production, you write animal production. If it's food and drink, whatever it is, you pick the drop down button and you select what is appropriate. If none of those things adequately describe your business, then you pick others, and then you specify exactly what the nature of your business is. So that's the first aspect. The second aspect is marketing. What benefits of the product or service enables your business to stand out from your competitors? Here, you are expected to, number one, have an understanding of your competition. Now, a lot of people say that they have a very unique business, so they don't have competitors. You know, their idea is unique, it's one in town, nobody else is doing it. Well, for your information, one of the proofs of the viability of any business is the fact that people are doing it, because it's a business that can sell. If anything can sell, most likely you will be the first person or the only person that will have noticed it. So you're expected to have an understanding of your competition and know the edge that you have over your competition. So here you have 50 words to describe the benefits of your products or the benefits of the service that makes you stand out, your unique selling point. Do you understand? For instance, if you are a producer of, say, plantain, you farm plantain. An average plantain farmer sells raw, okay? An average farmer. You may want to say that, okay, you are not an average farmer. You produce plantain, and then you go a step further to process your plantain into either plantain flour or plantain chips. Do you understand? You process, you package, and then you sell a finished product. Okay. Now the advantages of having a finished product is one, your shelf life increases from maybe like 2 weeks of raw plantain to like 2 or 3 months for processed plantain chips. Do you understand? So then you will be able to say that you have that as an edge over your competition. Do you understand? Because your competitors do not refine, they do not process what they manufacture. Okay, so whatever it is that you think your unique selling point is, you have 50 words to describe it. The next question now says, this your innovation. Does it, because you see, it's one thing to want to innovate, it's another thing for your innovation to be relevant to the basic needs of people. So the value you are adding to your products, does it meet any particular need? Do you understand? Is it relevant? You know, it's one thing for you to have a gap in the market. It's another thing for you to have sufficient market in that gap. What that means is that can you sell enough volume to put you in profit? Okay, so does this meet a particular need or demand? These are your competitive advantages. What need does it meet? Because every business has to address a particular need for the business to be sustainable. So you have another 50 words to describe that. Okay, the third question under this category is to name 5 of your existing or your expected customers. So now that you are producing this particular product, who are the people that you'll be selling it to? Is it a group of people? Are you selling to individuals? Are you selling to people that are buying raw materials that will go ahead to process to another level? Do you understand? But you should be able to identify the people that you are selling the products to. So here you're expected to list, at least name 5 of such expected customers. Now notice you have existing or expected. So if your business is existing, you are expected to have people that you're already selling to. If your business is a new business, there are people that you expect to sell whatever you're producing to. So here you're supposed to list those customers. And then, how will you attract these customers to your point of sale? Are you going to use the social media? Are you going to use the print media? Are you going to use the wave media? Are you going to use word of mouth? Are you going to, do you understand? How are you going to go about creating an awareness of the products that you have or your service? Okay? So that's the aspect on marketing. You have 3 questions under marketing. Now, under management, you have another question here. How many new full-time or equivalent staff will be employed in the business 12 months from receiving the first stage award? Now, it's important to note that when you see the word full-time or equivalent, we're talking about high capacity. Of course, you know that the Youwin initiative is to create jobs, big bottom line. Do you understand? So when we're talking about people that you're employing, we're not talking about casual laborers. Do you understand? We're talking about graduates that you're going to employ. That does not mean that you will not employ laborers, but we're saying that the bottom line is that once you know how many qualified graduates your business will be able to employ. And then this is within 12 months. Now, there are some businesses that when they start, they will employ 3. Then maybe 6 months down the line, they will employ another 4. Do you understand? But the point is, like at the end of this 12th month, how many people do you expect that you will have employed? So you're not going to give us the number that you are starting with. You give us the number that you believe that within 12 months you should be able to employ. I think that is simple enough. Okay, the next question is describe the benefits you and your proposed staff will bring to the business, including expertise, track record in the industry, and management experience. Of course, here you are expected to, number 1, let us know what you believe you have as experience or expertise to help you to be able to run that business effectively. Now, I've seen people that are management people or administrative guys and who applied for a business that is slightly technical. And what they are bringing to the table is their managerial competence. Okay, they employ people that have technical competence. Do you understand? So they are bringing in the administrative skills while the technicians come in to put in the technical input. So that's fine. But the bottom line is that you must have something to offer, either the ability to coordinate the business. Do you understand? Or you have the technical. Now you may have the technical knowledge and you may not have the administrative. So you may bring in an administrator to do that. So here, the people that you said you're going to employ here, you should be able to describe the benefit that each person will contribute to that business. Each of them should have a place, a relevance in that business. So of course you have 50 words to describe that as well. Largest existing or expected competitors. So here again, you are looking at the people that you believe are doing the kind of thing that you want to do. At least at a level that can compete with you. So at least you have 3 competitors. Then which of these competitors have localized presence or distribution network? Of course, we want to know which of these competitors have a grassroots impact and effect in that community where you intend to sell. Do you understand? So let me give you an example. You're going into, for instance, into maybe supermarket business now. We want to know if you have supermarkets around that area, that local government, that vicinity, where people can shop as an alternative to your own supermarket. Do you understand? Okay, so, and then what is their distributor network? How effective is it? You know, and all that. 50 words to do that as well. Now, describe the materials you will need to create your products or service. Are these materials readily available? Of course, here you tell us, okay, I need so and so raw materials, you know, and these materials are available locally in Nigeria. These materials are not available in Nigeria. I have to import them from China. You know, whatever it is that you want to do, you write that, and then you tell us if the price that you're going to get the material is the right price, or if it is a price that is too expensive for that category of material. Do you understand? So you put all that there. Of course, I don't think you should go into a business that your raw materials are not locally available. When I say local, let me use the word readily available. Your raw materials should be readily available. Even if not locally available, it should be something that you can. I have a friend who is into vegetable production, and she's bringing in some of her seeds from outside the country because of the yield that those seeds, bring. So, okay, is there an existing or expected lead time for manufacture, setup, harvest, and all that? Now, you see, this question is very important Because when they give you the grant, what this question means is that once the money is given to you, how many months will it take you to set up the business? For instance, if it's a fish farm, you're constructing earthen ponds, you're constructing concrete tanks, that will take maybe like a month or two. Now it is after you've done the construction that you can now stock the pond. So the lead time for you to start manufacture, is the time that it takes you to set up your shop, to set up your processing plant. So that's your lead time. Now, if there is such a lead time, like the first business that we applied for, that my wife applied for, there was no lead time because it's an IT business. Okay, what we do is SIM registration. So the money was released. The following day we bought more systems because it was an existing business anyway. The following day we bought more computers. The third day we give the computers to people that were going to work with it, and by the fourth day the systems are started working. So there's no lead time. I mean, it's instant. Do you understand? But for some other businesses, you have to set up, something. So now, if you have a lead time, give us the estimated time that you expect that it will take you to set up your plant and all that. Now, for you to give estimated lead time for each of the products. Now, next question: what risks or challenges might affect the success of your business, including license and accreditation? So this is just general risk management. Okay, is it a business that you have a warehouse that may have a fire outbreak? Is it a business that what just happened? Okay, is it a business where you could have environmental factors, maybe erosion? Do you understand? Whatever it is, so whatever risk that could affect that business, you should put it there. Now, do you need licenses and accreditations to run the business? Is it products that need SNAP number, and all that? So whatever risk that you think, or whatever licenses and accreditations that you may need, you put it there. And then you now tell us, how do you expect to reduce those risks? For instance, if you have fire outbreak, how will you reduce fire outbreak? Of course, you install smoke alarm system, you have fire extinguishers, and then ultimately you have insurance. Okay, ultimately you have insurance. Now, talking about your licensing and accreditation, bottom line, you start your processing early. Okay, you start and you make sure that your documentation, the things that they ask you to bring, make sure that they are up to date. Okay, so that's how you will reduce or mitigate this. Okay, next question, please. Okay, profitability. What are your current and expected sales within the next 12 months? Now, the question is, once the money is given to you, how much do you expect to make? Now, of course, nobody's going to hold you 100% responsible for whatever answer. It's a projection. You can have a projection. For instance, I produce toilet soap. Okay? Let's assume that my projection is that within a month I should be able to produce 10,000 tablets of toilet soap. That's my projection. Okay? From the level of investment that I'm bringing in. Now, if I produce 10,000 tablets, I should be able to sell the 10,000 tablets. So it means in a year, I would have sold 120,000 tablets. Now, you convert that figure to the price that you're selling the tablets of soap. Okay, so let's assume you're selling it 100 naira. You multiply by 120,000, gives you, I think, 12 million. Okay, so that's your expected sale. That's your projection. That you should be able to sell 12 million within 12 months. Do you understand that? So that's your expected sales within 12 months. If you are an existing business, you may want to give us the current figure of what you're selling right now based on your level of investment, and then your expected sales when you now begin to sell from your new level of investment. Do you understand? So there will be two answers that you give them. And then you will now describe if there's any seasonality. There are some businesses that are seasonal. They sell higher during festive period. For instance, if you're into cattle ranching, rearing of cattle, sheep and goats, you will sell more ram during the layer period. Okay? So you may say that, well, sales is ongoing, but you have your sales will peak at so period. If you're selling fabrics, it could peak during the festive period. Do you understand? So you may say if there's seasonality, if there's no seasonality. Now, if you're selling things like fish, things that you produce, it takes 6 months. So of course, you have a 6 month cycle. Okay? And then if you intend to stagger your production such that you stock 1,000 this month, you stock 1,000 next month, you stock 1,000 over 6 months, so that at the 6th month, you start harvesting 1,000 every month. Here you will explain that that's the pattern that you want to operate, so that every month you still have income. Do you understand? So you have 50 words to do that, so you can explain how you intend to plan your business and if there's any seasonality or not. Okay, what amount of sales in area per month must you achieve to reach profitability? Now this is interesting. Now, when you say profitability, what do we mean? Profitability is the point at which you have recouped whatever you put into the business, and any sale that you make after that point, you are in profit. So, for instance, you put 10 million in the business. Any sale that you make that you have not made that 10 million, you are not yet really profitable. Do you know? So, let's assume you sell a product for again for 100 naira or for 1,000 naira, for instance, and your profit on that product is 100 naira. You sell the product for 1,000, the profit on it is 100 naira, and you invested 10 million. What you calculate is that how many 1,000 nairas will I sell before I can make 100 naira that can now make up for that 10 million. A lot of people try to impress people by saying that they are break-even points, that this next question, when do you expect to achieve it? I like to say things like 4 months. The truth is that in your business, you cannot invest 10 million and recoup your money back in 4 months. It's almost impossible. The world standard break-even point for an average business is 2 years. You understand? It's understandable if a business runs for 2 years before the business breaks even. Okay, so but sometimes you can still write 12 months depending on the kind of business that you're doing. But my point is that don't try to impress anybody by saying in 3 months you have broken even. It's not likely you break even in 3 months. Okay, so you project based on the profit that you're going to make. What will it take me to recoup the amount that I've put into the business? So you project the amount of sales that you want to make to reach profitability. Then, when do you expect to achieve this? Is it in 6 months? Is it in 10 months? Is it in to hit that amount of monthly sales? Let me explain that. If the amount you need to sell to reach profitability is 2 million per month, the next question now says, at what point do you expect that you will now hit that 2 million per month? That does not mean that you are broken, that at this point that you are broken even. But by the 11th month, I would have started selling at the 2 million naira monthly mark by the 11th month. Do you understand? So what that means is that maybe the 10th month, maybe I sold 1.2 million, the 9th month, maybe I sold 900,000. Do you understand? But by the 11th month, I would have started selling at that 2 million naira mark. Do you understand? Okay. Yes, sir.
That means from the beginning to say the 10th month,
you may not make sale at that level. You may start, for instance, maybe the product you're selling, you're just introducing the product into the market. So maybe for the first month, maybe you sold 300,000, which is a new product. Okay. Second month, you increase your crusade, you increase your awareness, then you sold 500,000. Then the next month, you did radio jingles, television adverts. Do you understand? Then you move to like 800. But what you're saying is that by what month do you believe that you have started selling that your monthly, the amount of sales you need to sell every month to be profitable? So maybe by the 10th month now, if that goes into that point where you're now selling maybe 2 million every month. Do you understand? So you write when you expect to achieve that, the number of months after you receive your first award. Okay?
What's the difference between profitability and break-even?
Profitability is the sale that you make after you have broken even. Break-even is when your input and your income are equal. The amount you have put into the business and the amount that you have made, they are now equal. So anything you sell after that point, you are now in profit. And that's why you have most of those telecoms, when the telecommunications company, when they come into Nigeria, some of them come with an initial investment of, I don't know, maybe let's assume they come with like 50 billion, for instance. And then they set up and then they buy official cars, they do all that, At that point, they are selling airtime, they are selling devices, but they're not really making profit because they have invested 50 billion, maybe they just make 1 or 2 billion. But they still keep putting money into it because they know that they will be able to push that business to a point. But the time will come that their sale will go to a point where they have recouped the amount that they've invested, and then now some of those companies don't even make profit for like 6 years or 7 years. But the moment they cross that line, they are in profit. Do you understand? How much money do you want from Youwin? Now, see, this is another very interesting question. You see, whatever amount you are asking for, you must be able to justify from the things that you have said and the things that you are going to say. For instance, if you ask for the whole 10 million, alright, you ask for the whole 10 million, but maybe when we move on, you understand what I'm trying to say. So how much money do you want from Youwin? You shouldn't just say the amount that you want. You should say the amount that your business needs at the level that you are applying. Do you understand? So for instance, if you want the whole 10 million, there's nothing wrong with it. You can want the whole 10 million, but at least scale up your business to the level that it can absorb 10 million. For instance, you can't tell me what to do a poultry of 1,000 layers. You cannot say you want to do a portrait of 1,000 layers, and then say you need 10 million. It's ridiculous. The capital is too much for the kind of business that you want to do. Do you understand? 1,000 layers. Maximum maybe you need like 2.5 at least. Okay? If you have a land, if you have a land, let's assume you buy a land or whatever state you are in Nigeria, you are now 1 million. So like 3.5 or 4 million. So you can't ask for 10 million for a portrait that you are projecting 1,000 layers. If you are marking it, you are sure to fail. Okay? So break this figure down into relevant categories. Now you are expected to put a maximum of 40% of the total amount you are asking for into capital equipment, things like machinery, land, and building. What that means is that if you're asking for 10 million, you shouldn't allot more than or allocate more than 40%, which is 4 million, for capital equipment. As a matter of fact, let me give you another example. Somebody applied for tomato production. He told me that he was going to bring in greenhouse from China. Okay? Now he's bringing the greenhouse from China. The cost of the greenhouse is I think 8 million. Now, Youwin will disburse the money in tranches, 3 tranches or 4 tranches, depending on how they decide to do it. Now, so if your major principal instrument is going to cost you 8 million, and they're going to give you maybe like 2.5 million, it means that when they give you the first tranche, you won't do anything. I mean, it's ridiculous. Do you understand? So what that means is that your capital equipment, whatever it is that you're buying, should be less than 40%. Okay? Now, your operating expense should cover wages and all that. Of course, it's important that you have enough money to pay your staff for 1 year. Okay, when you're starting this kind of business, because you're not even going to break even in 1 year anyway. So your wages, your raw materials, your stock. So you put the bulk of the money here. And then other pre-startup costs, accreditation, NAFDAC registration, CAC registration, whatever it is, you put that here. So usually this looks something like 3.5, 6, 500,000. Usually, depending on the nature of business that we are looking at. Okay, let's go on. Now, what is the minimum equipment cost that is necessary to commence trading or expand your business? Now, this too is a very important question. The question now is, you already said your capital equipment will be 3.5 million, for example. Now, this question says, what is the minimum? Now, we know that what you need for your equipment is 3.5 million. But what is the minimum you need to start something? If you're into printing, for instance, all these, what do you call this, lithography, direct image and all that. So you want to set up a printing press. Now, the equipment you need, maybe you need equipment of 6 million or 5 million or 4, whatever it is that you say. But you can start with a cutting machine. You can start, do you understand? You can start with whatever it is. So this is the minimum equipment cost that you need. So you put that at least to start your trading. So you put that, and then of course next question, you describe the equipment. Let us know what this equipment is and how can you use it to start. Yes, sir.
And this is practically single.
It doesn't have to be single equipment. It could be multiple equipment, but the minimum that you need to start production.
My poultry house and
there's somebody that applied here, and the person wants to do like a mobile kitchen, shop, kiosk, and all that. And then he wrote minimum equipment. And then when he was to describe the equipment, he wrote 3 refrigerators, 3 gas cookers, 3. And I told him that look, that's not the minimum you need. You can start with 1 refrigerator, 1 gas cooker. You can start with that. What you need ultimately may be 3. You can start with one of those. Do you understand? So it doesn't have to be 1 equipment. But what I'm saying is that the minimum equipment, at least I can get your business running. How much money do you require to make for that? So if you're asking for 10 million, for instance, and your business needs about 15 million actually, but you already said that they're going to give you a maximum of 10 million. So if you need an extra 5 million for the business to be successful, so you will tell us, okay, I expect or I need additional 5 million. If you do not need additional money, don't write that you need additional money. Okay? But if you do, you can put it here. Okay, we need an additional 5 million and I'm going to get it. Now, you see, they didn't even ask you where you're going to get it from. So you're just going to put the figure. I need an additional 5 million, so you put it there. But remember that if you say you need an additional 5 million, from the way you described the business should look like a business that will need that additional 5 million. Do you understand? Good. Next question. State the progress of any loan application. So if you have any loan that you're applying for, maybe with a bank, a microfinance bank, bank of industry, whatever it is, you tell them, okay, just apply, loan granted, loan in whatever state that the loan is. And then describe any existing finance loans you use. Now, so if you've already collected loan that you're paying back, let's know how much you collected, let's know how much you've paid back, and how much you have left. Okay, so this is just to describe whatever loan you have. If you don't have any loan, just put none or nil. I think it is better you're not paying money back. I think so. You know, because you see the way I would think is that if you are owing and then you get a grant, the first one to go and settle your indebtedness, especially if you are not a very strong businessman. It's not easy for somebody to be stressing you, and you know. So, but of course, if you are owing, say you are owing, if you are not but I just think it's better you are not owing. Okay, how much money will you or your family and friends? I love this question, and a lot of people feel this question. Now, this question is very simple. You want to give you 10 million, but you are not willing to drop anything. I think it is ridiculous. Okay, even if you want to collect money from a bank to do any purchase, they ask for equity contribution. I think it's about 30%. In my own candid opinion, I think it should be minimum of 10%. That's what I think. Okay, I think if you're asking for 10 million, you should be able to raise. Now, they're not asking you to even drop the money at once. But over the period of like 12 months, how much will you personally put into the business? Or how much will your family put into the business? A friend got Youwin 2. She applied for 9.2 or 9.4. She got 7.2 or 7.4, thereabout. But the amount she said she was going to contribute to the business was 600,000. So it's not a hard and fast rule. But I just think it makes you more serious if you can put at least 10% of what you're asking for. How much money do you plan to take out of the business, Pastor? That's like your salary. As the owner of the business, how much money do you want to take per month? Now you should be very reasonable. If you said you're not going to put any money in 12 months, you want to collect salary. Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. Then at the same time, you should consider how much profits the business will make. So there's no hard and fast rule about the amount of money you will take out of the business. But the question is, how much profit will the business make? How much will you have paid to your staff as salary? How much will you have left? Then how much can you pay yourself? Do you understand from it? Now, to write that you won't take anything is slightly ridiculous. We all know you will take the money. So say the truth. Let us know how much you're going to pay yourself. Okay, you can't be the brain behind a business and you won't pay yourself for it. You can't infuse your energy and your skill into something. So, but it should just be reasonable. Anything between 40 and 70,000 makes sense. A friend said that you should not pay yourself more than double of what your highest paid staff earns. So if the person you are paying the highest amount is collecting 30,000, you should collect more than 60,000. I think that's just fair. The bottom line is, I think a reasonable amount is anything between 40 and 75,000, depending on the profitability of the business. Now, that is what you plan to take. If you make more money, you can take more than that. Do you understand? Okay. Then I think there's a last question, which is give us any additional information. How many of us have seen Boston Legal before? That series. You know when those guys, of course, we're right now. So when those guys have cases, they will have done their presentation. See presentation you call it? They will have done it, back and forth, and then they will say they have a closing. And then Alan Shaw, the guy will come, and then in 3 minutes tries to convince the jury why they must rule in his favor. So this is your Alan Shaw case, okay? You have 100 words. That's where you have the highest number of words. Did they ask you to say anything in particular? Or just say, okay, you know what? Give us any comments, any additional information that you believe is relevant to this application. I believe that this is where you can kill it. Whatever they ask you, that you believe you can. This is where your energy should be felt. This is where your passion should be felt. And that's why if somebody applies for you, the person should not write this part for you. If somebody helps you with the application, you should infuse your energy. You should infuse your passion into it. So whatever it is that you have done in the past, okay, that qualifies you to have that money to do that business. Whatever it is that you are doing at the moment, whatever knowledge, I think you should just put it here. Now, it's important to first write it out. It could be 200 words. Catch your thought on paper. Just catch it first. And then you can now begin to rearrange it to suit into the 100 words. Okay, but here you must leave it. If you cannot convince me here, then I'm not convinced. Okay, so that's it. Now, just like I said, remember, nobody knows the market scheme. I don't know anybody that knows how they market. But the truth is that I believe there are important things that they're looking for. They want to know if you really get this money, you're going to go into this business. They want to know if this is something that you want to spend your life and your time doing. Not someone that just says, okay, poultry is selling, so let me apply with poultry. And then you get the money, 2 years down the line, you are discouraged because poultry is not your passion. Okay? Nobody will give you 10 million to do something that's not your passion. So we have to feel your passion and all that. So I think basically that's an overview. It is not as complicated as people make it look. Know the business that you're going into. Have a very good idea of the business. Have a good idea of the people that are already into that business or a similar business. That's your competition analysis. Have an idea of what is happening. Do your research. Go online. Check the prices that people are selling, whatever it is that they are selling. Check the price that you can sell your own products. Will you make profit if you sell at that product at that price? Will people buy from you if you sell at that price? The value you are adding with your innovation, is this something that meets a need? You have to basically do your research and then put your thoughts on paper. You should be able to finish this application in maximum of 6 hours.
If you have all the information
If you have all the information, less than 6 hours, maybe 3 hours, not that. So, but I think you should just do your homework. Nigerians are poor researchers. Okay, you don't research well, so you write stuff that is not founded. For instance, you want to go into manufacturing and you're bringing in machines. Find out if the machines you are importing, if they are locally available. There are machines that people bring in from China. People fabricate those machines in Nigeria and they work equally well. Now, you have the advantage of the fabricator. So if you have an issue with the machine that was fabricated locally, you can approach the person and be like, do you understand? If you bring in a machine from outside the country and you have issues with it, how do you manage it? So sometimes, so do your research. These things I want to bring in from outside. Can I get it locally? If you can't get it locally, okay, then bring it in from so country. Will I have support? Because you can run the business for 6 months, have a major issue with the machine that you bought with 2 million, and then there's no spare part. How do you? So those are all the things that you should have sorted out before you apply for this. Okay, so I don't know if you have any question.
Yeah. Alright. So my question is that the question on that product.
Okay.
Name your 3 largest existing and expected competitors now. But am I supposed to name names like Sunbeam Primary School, Livingstone College, or I should just use a general description? Primary
schools. Well, I believe that 2 words are very important in that question. The word name, the word 3. Okay? That 3 shows that they need 3 specific numbers, and the word name shows they need the name. Okay? Identify. You should be able to recognize the group that will compete with you. So, in my own opinion, I believe you should write the name of the business owners or the businesses that may be competing with your products or service. Do you understand? Now, my own product is honey, okay? And there are different kind of people that sell honey. Some people bottle it, some buy from people that get from the wild and they hawk it. But bottom line is that people who consume honey buy honey from those kind of people. Now, one way they are my competitors, another way they are not. People who are particular about pure honey don't buy honey from honey hawkers because they know that they have an adulterated version. Do you understand? But people who don't mind, who want honey anyhow, we still buy from them. So anybody that buys something that should have been bought from me, do you understand, is a competitor. So I wrote local honey traders or hawkers. I wrote the name of the people that I know that already bought to and retail their honeys in supermarket. So I think you should write the name, and leave the people who are marking to find out where exactly those companies or those distributors are. Now notice that they said, do they have localized presence? If they have very strong localized presence and distribution network, please mention that they have effective distribution network. And if you have enough space to say how you intend to checkmate that, but I will develop a strategy, if you understand, whatever it is you can put there. Okay, yes, ma'am.
My question is still on product.
Okay.
I want to know. I understand that you need to pay your trade
Tranches, yeah.
So I want to know if this profitability and all that are basically for the first, because I understand that one has to do business with the first tranche and at least generate something out of it.
Well, I will not say you're not exactly expected. It's not as if you're expected to generate something from the first tranche, but you're expected to show sign that you have started. For instance, you are into garri processing and you do not have any of the machines. Okay, when you get the first tranche, you're supposed to secure your factory space, then buy the processing machines that you're going to use. Now, so when you have those equipment, for somebody who doesn't have anything, to somebody who already has a space, who has constructed a shed, something decent, and who already has a few of those machines. Now they know that when you get the second tranche, you are going to get whatever it is that you need to. Now it will be funny if you use the first tranche to buy raw materials, to buy cassava, and you don't have machines to process it. Do you understand? So it's better you start that way. So, but some people, the first tranche they get, they can actually start production at a level. Some may not be able to start. For instance, Youwin 2, a friend that got money for crutch. What she got was just enough. She got, I think her first tranche was 750,000. The building that she rented for the crutch cost her about 500,000. It was a duplex. So after renting a building for 500,000 and basic renovation, she was stuck. But it was obvious she had already gotten a building. She had a signboard. She had prepared like 2 or 3 of the rooms. So when she got her second tranche, she now went ahead to get more stuff and then to print materials for people for children to come in. So by the time she got the second tranche, she already had a few students. Do you understand? So now the question you asked, if I'm correct, is you want to know if you're supposed to calculate the profitability from the first month. The question is that within 12 months, how much sales will you have made? Total, put it together over the period of 12 months. So you get your first tranche January. By end of December, how much sales would you have made? Even if 80% of the sales comes in the last 1 month. Do you understand? How much sales are you going to make over 12 months? That's the question. Yes, sir.
Talking about the product. Okay. Said describe the material you need to create your product or services. Now, are these materials readily available? Now, what if these materials are not available?
It means your business is not sustainable. Because if you do not have raw materials to consistently produce, it means you will have issues along the line. Do you understand?
Now, I'm saying at the initial stage, if these materials are not available to get, like I want to start, let's say, bakery now. I need maybe another one and some other.
That's not the materials and equipment.
Okay.
The materials are the raw materials, your flour, your breading, and all those things that you need. The equipment that you need are actually different from the materials. But you see, whether equipment or materials, whatever it is you need should be available. It might be available in Brazil, it must be available somewhere. Do you understand what I'm saying? So all what stands between you and getting it is just the distance and the cost, but it's available. But if the materials are not available, it means even when you have the money, you still won't get it. So it means you are ready to produce, you don't have the material to produce. So the question is whether material should be readily available. Do you understand? Should be readily available. If that's one sign, if your materials are not readily available, or if your materials are available, but they are available at exorbitant prices, do you understand? Then that business is not going to be sustainable. So let me just quickly chip this in that I think that a winning business plan must have 3 elements. One, the business that you're writing about must be business that will be profitable. A profitable business. Number 2, the business must be a sustainable business. It means, there are businesses that you do that you make profit once, but the profitability is not a sustainable. It doesn't have a sustainable trend. It doesn't have a trend of profitability. So it must be something that over and again you must be able to keep making profit from it. Okay? So it must be a sustainable business, it must be a profitable business, and then it must be a business that can employ people. If you have a profitable business and a sustainable business, but that has a low employment rate, you don't stand a chance as much as somebody who has a business that has lower profitability but higher employability. You don't have to let me explain what I'm trying to say. You are doing an online business. All you need to do that business is your laptop, internet connection, and that's all. You don't need a staff, you don't need a secretary, you don't need anything. Now you're asking for 10 million. Alright? And at the end of the year, you will make 50 million retained profit. That looks like a very good business, isn't it? Okay? 10 million, I don't know, maybe not use the 10 million to buy something online and all that. But bottom line is that all you need is you don't even need an office, you work from your house. Okay? You need a laptop, you need internet connectivity, and then you're going to make 50 million at the end of the year. Now somebody else is into business, employs 15 people. They're into cassava processing. They walk around at the end of the year, after he has paid the 15 people, maybe he pays them 30,000 each. That's 450,000 per month. He does that. At the end of the year, his retained profit is not more than 6 or 7 million. But he has been able to employ and empower 15 people. that business is likely going to have better chance at winning compared to the other guy who's going to run solo and is going to make more money. Because the goal of the whole initiative is to employ people. So it's important. So whatever you're doing, the business must be profitable, because a non-profitable business will not last. You can't continue doing a business that's not profitable for general. So the business must be profitable. It's profitability that will lead to sustainability. Of course, there are other factors that make it sustainable. Your availability of raw materials, and all that. And then your business must be able to employ people.
In your own opinion, sir, professionals, doctors, lawyers, engineers, because looking at the description of the business, where we're asked to select the industry. Now, I've not gone online to check whether I'm a lawyer. I don't know, maybe the field is there. In your own opinion, do you think the award the Youwin funds to professionals? Because of the three things, the three factors that you have just stated now, which is profitability, sustainability, and then employability. Because obviously, professionals are profitable, but it's over time. It's development of expertise, which may take years or which may take time. Sustainable, obviously, because in as much as the person is still in the business, is sustaining it. Being alive makes the business to be sustainable, and then obviously the sustainability leads to employability. If it's profitable, it can obviously bring in more. In your own opinion, have professionals been granted the award?
Sincerely, I don't think I really know of anybody in that category. I don't. I would not say that there's none. But I think that if the professional can put because you see, as long as it's a business is a business. Whatever you're doing is a business. But of course, you have to be able to put the proposal together in a way that you will show that, number one, the business can employ. Because you see, when you employ a professional, you have employed. For instance, if it's maybe you want to have a law, is it chambers you call it, firm, So how are you going to go about it? So you can put it, how are you going to go about it? How you use how once you put it together, I believe you can fly.
I have a chart in my system where from Youwin, they employed legal people that Yes, I have to chart in my system.
So because if a school, just a moment, because if a school can apply and a school can get the grant, I believe that an engineering firm can. The only challenge that an engineering firm will have is that the equipment that they need to buy, they could be very, very expensive. Sometimes 10 million may not even buy one of the that machine is very similar. But if you can work your way around it, such that you can prove that, look, with 10 million, I can still run this business and be profitable, and of course you will get it. So I'm just like what he said, you already know people that I don't know. Most of the people that I know, I don't know that they're in the fashion industry. I know a lot of agriculture. They're not people in manufacturing, packaging companies, and all that. A lot of farmers, the education sector, school crunch and all that. But I believe that if a professional can package it in a way that it can be convincing, of course you get it. Because it's a business. Ultimately, what's a business? Anything that gives value and you get money from it. As long as that's what you're doing, then you're fine. Yes, ma'am.
My question is, let me be better with putting it. Okay, are there any chances of using, maybe after the first tranche, are there any chances of using the other tranches?
Of losing?
Yes.
Yes, if you do not do what you have. It's not just about losing the first tranche, it's about refunding the first tranche that you even collected. Because you see, if you are given the first tranche and you do not spend it the way you were supposed to, because you've been given milestones, you're expected to do certain things. If you, like some people from the first edition, they collected the money and then they went to roof houses, national presidents, if you do that and you win funds out, they will come after you. And because you're going to sign a contract with Youwin, they'll come after you and you will refund. It doesn't matter how long it takes you, you'll refund every time.
Let me just because I have two scenarios, and this one I had it from past awardees that is between two Gary producers. The first person bought the materials and bought the cassavas and go to other people's name to produce. and she was able to sell and make profit from the first tranche.
Okay.
Maybe she got a space already and used the rest of the money
To buy raw materials.
And make something out of it. And the second person didn't buy any raw materials. She just went straight into building and put. I think probably she was able to get some equipment. I'm not sure now. So when Youwin came, because she was unable to produce something with the first tranche, she was disqualified. And the other person,
Okay. Now, you see, I think this is a subject of. The first question I would ask is, you see, every awardee has a mentor, and every awardee has a supervisor. Whatever you want to do, you are supposed to run it by your mentor, okay, and by your supervisor. What the first person did was that she went into production, she outsourced the actual processing. So it was a label, she got raw materials, she got somebody to do it for her, she packed it, she was selling. You understand? So it's like you are outsourcing a part of your company, So she already had finished products that she was selling. The other person went into capital development, okay? Now, that capital development, maybe the cost of that capital development was already too high, such that she had exhausted the whole of the first tranche on that, and she had not even finished the construction. Do you understand? Now, if she had discussed with her supervisors, they would have advised her appropriately. Do you understand? They would have told her, look, you cannot do this. Because you see, every awardee has, they give you milestones. What they mean by those milestones is that, okay, from this first tranche, this and this is what we expect that you achieve. Now, I do not know what is in your milestone, but I know what is in my own milestone. If I'm supposed to employ 8 people in my first milestone, for instance, for the Youwin 2, the milestone I was given to my wife was that she was to employ 6 people within the first 3 months, and that she was to impute the 1 million that we said we were going to bring into the business. She was to put the 1 million into the business within that 3 months. Once she had done that, because of the nature of the business, once she had done that, it's a service-related business, So within 1 month, we were able to hit the milestone because we had workers initially. It was to increase the workforce to 6, which we were able to do within a month. Do you understand? The 1 million that we were supposed to add to it, we were able to do that within a month as well. Do you understand? So we had hit the milestone. But for somebody who is into direct production, for instance, if the milestone is that she must have products to show, then she didn't have to build the structure. Do you understand? Depending on the milestone that she was in. But remember that the person who outsourced the production of the dairy won't have much staff. I believe you know that. She won't have much staff. Maybe she will only have a procurement officer, somebody who gets the cassava, the raw cassava. Do you understand? So if her milestones were to employ 5 people, she will be disqualified as well because she doesn't have, except she can justify how she can employ 5 people outsourcing production. So I believe that this is as unique as each person's business is. The discussion should be made with the mentor and with the supervisor so that you know exactly what your milestone is and then you can work with that. Do you understand?
Mentor and supervisor comes at the stage when the
of course, when you qualify and you have scaled through the application, you send your contract, you have a mentor, you have a supervisor, you understand? And then you're supposed to work. Whatever you're in execution, some of the things that you wrote might change, but you're supposed to carry your mentor along. You're supposed to carry your supervisor along. Like, okay, look, as I said, I wrote this thing was about a year ago. This was my projection. But the reality right now is that I have to make this decision. So because it's your supervisor who will rate you for payment. If your supervisor believes that you've not spent the money the way you're supposed to spend, he or she will not recommend you. If you're not recommended, you won't get the money. It's as simple as that. But if the person that is to recommend you understands why you did what you did, just because you carried him or her along, I think you won't have much in terms of problems. I think we should actually be concerned about getting to that point where you actually have a mentor.
I want to ask a question, sir.
Okay.
And it's going to be personal. I want you to describe how, under management, describe the benefits you and your co-staff will bring to the business, including expertise, track record in the industry, and management experience. Now, I have 50 words to describe this. To answer this question, 50 words. I've tried several times. If I'm employing 8 people, how am I going to describe? In fact, describing myself alone, I use 50 words.
If you pay me my usual fee, I'll tell you exactly. I'll tell you how I do it.
Please tell me how.
You see, so you pay me. Now, I think it's simple. I believe everything is simple, actually. Because I always say it's simple. I think it's simple. Let me tell you what I did. I applied for honey production, just like I said, and I'm an agronomist. I studied agronomy in school. and I've been into farm establishment as a consultant for over 10 years, for about 10 years. Okay, so how did I start? I said I'm an agronomist by training with over 10 years of field experience as a farm establishment consultant. I've described myself and I've told you, look, I've been doing this thing for over 10 years. I think that's enough. I don't need to say more than that about myself.
It's your 50 words.
You understand? That's what I'm saying. So what I've said about myself, that's less than 15. You know, I'm an agronomist by training, because you've seen my profile anyway in the page that you feel about yourself. So I'm an agronomist by training, and I've been doing this for about 15 years as a farm establishment consultant. Full stop. I am going to employ agronomists for, now you see, because of the nature of the business that I do, I raise bees. Bees will use flowers from flowering plants, pollen and nectar. Okay. Now I need to have somebody who manages my field, somebody who knows about what's it called, forage and food production and all that. You know. So I'm going to employ agronomists who will be in charge of fodder management. What they will do is just make sure that I have flowering plants almost all year round. So they have to synchronize if one flowers March, April, and then I want to flower May, June, so that my bees will have easy access to flowers. So I'll employ agronomists for that purpose. Then I'm going to employ I'm going to employ an entomologist, that's a specialist in insects, to manage the bees themselves. Do you understand? Then I'm going to employ a food technologist, a food science and technologist, to manage the laboratory where we do the packaging. I will employ marketers for effective distribution and sales. Full stop. I've told them how I will employ 7 or 8 people.
So only you have the expertise track records.
No, that you cannot say I will employ marketers with minimum of 2 years experience. I will employ entomologists with minimum of 1 year experience. You're the one employing now, so you can recruit based on your standards. So you can, for instance, you can make it, everybody you want to employ will have minimum of 2 years experience. So after I've set my own track record, I cannot say, okay, I will employ this person with 2 years experience, I will employ that person with 1 year experience. Do you understand? I will employ an accountant.
I don't have to name names of good staff.
No, you don't have to. It's 1 year. If the person you name dies before no, but you see, the truth is that you don't have to mention it, but just mention what you want the person you're bringing, what do you want that person to contribute. So the person must, for instance, if you want, like I said, I want an entomologist. So I must be able to say, this entomologist must have 2 years experience in apiculture. This person must have 1 year experience in so thing. That way, it will show that the person I'm bringing is not a novice. Do you understand? So that's how I think you can answer that. 50 words. They want to, just like I said earlier, write it out as long as it is, and then try to now, I think we did that when we were in secondary school. They call it, what do you call it?
No.
So I think the summary. You have an essay that is long and then you're supposed to compress. So like that, you just try to pick the vital things and then compress it and make it, because they don't have time to read extended essays.